Thanks for joining Justine Moss and myself, Stanley Leong, here on CNA938. Now, for many of us, the idea of work and play are polar opposites. If you have kids, you also make clear to them that, there is a time to be quiet, to sit down, focus on getting your homework done, and only after that can you play. But what if your business is all about play?
Oh, sounds wonderful. Well, in this segment of Money Mind, we talk about the spaces that have a special place in every child's heart, and they are playgrounds. What are some of your best memories of playgrounds, or your favorite ones, and why? Stanley, I'm going to ask you this.
I think my growing up years, I'd spent some time at my friend's place when he was living at Marine Parade, and there was a playground downstairs, and it one of those, merry-go-round things, like we had mentioned earlier. I would jump on it. Before we jump on it, you got to run around it, push it so that it's spinning, and then you jump on it. So yeah, those are my early days. And then more recently, I managed to sneak into the Jacob Ballas Children's Garden at Singapore Botanic Gardens. Yeah, they've got an amazing playground, but you need a kid to bring you in. So Justine, you can't just walk in as an adult.
Oh.
So, yeah, so just find a kid.
Maybe I can just borrow a child and then just walk in there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Borrow, all right? Return it after use. Yeah, what about you, Justine? What playgrounds come to mind if you're looking back?
Well, gosh, I think, I'm just trying to think when I was very, very young. I used to love the swings, and then as I sort of got older, again, like you, the merry-go-round, and I would see how fast I could really, really make it go, and then hold on for dear life and make sure that you didn't sort of spin off. But I live near a little playground now in Juchiat, and it's just lovely. It's lovely to see kids enjoying themselves in there.
Yeah, I mean, playgrounds are amazing. They elicit so much wonderful, warm memories for us. Imagine how they are also creating rich experiences now for our children. So what goes on behind the scenes when designing playgrounds? Well, time to find out. And I happen to also know of a brand new playground that only opened about 2 weeks ago, but it was completed a few months back. So it remained closed for such a long time, and I believe it's because of the current pandemic. And perhaps this is one aspect that companies behind playgrounds are also looking at, perhaps the materials that they're using, maybe giving more attention to that aspect as well.
Well, let's pose that question to our guest now, Jason Sim, who's Managing Director of Playpoint Singapore. It's a playground consultancy firm specializing in playground design and equipment. Jason, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for your time here on Money Mind. Now, how can playgrounds adapt to fears brought about, by this pandemic?
Okay. Currently, all playgrounds are designed and spaced 1.8 meters apart, so it meets the social distancing measures of 1 meter. And in addition, most playgrounds are situated outdoors, so it's actually well ventilated. It has a natural cleaning effect under the ultraviolet sun and rain. Of course, it's also the responsibility of the parents to ensure that the kids are properly masked up before playing at the playground to prevent airborne transmission.
So were there new guidelines for organizations like Playpoint with regard to how playgrounds set up and built? And you talk about that spacing of 1.8 meters. Were there new guidelines, or were they already existing ones?
They are already existing guidelines. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So not much tweaking there needed for businesses like yourselves. But while we and our children enjoy the times that we get out into the playgrounds and have some fun, we know there's a lot of work and thought process behind designing playgrounds. So take us through the thought process. How are designs thought up before a playground is actually built and erected?
Designing playgrounds is actually a very collaborative process between the clients, the architects, and ourselves. So for Playpoint, we like to design playgrounds that are whimsical, arty, and fun, that balance form and function. We also like to think out of the box and actually push the boundaries of play.
Okay, so
yeah.
When I see kids, in the playgrounds and they're running around screaming, and it's just so lovely to see them actually enjoying the outdoors and having a great time. But apart from sort of getting all that energy out of their system and working up a sweat, I guess, as well, what else should playgrounds essentially do for kids? I mean, you say form and function, but what else?
Playgrounds actually helps to promote social interaction. So the kids from the neighboring estates will actually come down and play, and so they make friends and also have a great time together. Also, it helps to improve their motor skills as well as their cognitive skills and testing their risk tolerance also. So these are the additional stuff that you can benefit from playing at the playground.
Yeah, well, Jason, I'm sure you have fond memories of your favorite playground as well growing up. Care to share them with us?
Yeah. Basically, I used to play at the concrete structures and having fun at the swings also in the past.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people now, when they talk about playgrounds of old, we always go back to the dragon, right? And I think when I was a kid, that was a very scary thing to get into the bones of the dragon because, you know, with tiny little feet, you might just slip and your feet get caught in between the bones. The make-believe bones. So that was a scary thing for me. But I'm also interested, Jason, to know about what the corporate culture is like at your organization. For an organization that is a playground consulting firm, is it also a very fun, playful culture that you have?
Yes, we do have a very fun and playful culture, and we try to make the most of what we have in terms of designing within the constraints, and in particular, an eye for design.
So do you have a playground in your office?
We have a little spring rider at the entrance of our office.
Oh, I like those. Where you go just, wobble on it.
Yes.
Nice. Well, tell us how playgrounds have evolved over time to what we are able to enjoy today, or maybe our kids are able to enjoy today. How have they transformed over time? Okay,
in the past, it used to be purchased from standard functional playground. Now it's more like thematic-based playgrounds that reflect the heritage and history of a location. For example, we built a 36-meter-long battleship playground at Sembawang Park.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was in memory of 2 British naval battleships that sank after being attacked by the Japanese during the World War.
Wow, okay. So, sorry, continue.
And also, there's more spray park playgrounds in addition to dry play. It's a preferred variation given the Singapore's hot climate. And playgrounds are now seen as an important unique selling point for most developments such as malls and hospitality establishments to attract families with kids.
Okay, you've mentioned a couple there, Jason, by name, and I know that I've got a lovely little playground in Juchat, just where I live. What are some of the best public playgrounds, do you think, that we've got in Singapore today?
Okay, I can name 3 areas, 3 best playgrounds in my context. The one that we have is the Discovery Slides at Jewel Changi Airport Canopy Park. It's basically a stainless steel mirror sculpture which resembles a gemstone, and I believe it's the most Instagrammable place at the Canopy Park. It has a drop slide which is angled at about 75 degrees, two glass-covered spiral slides, and a family slide. Also, on top of that, you do have a slide viewing deck which have a great view of the Forest Valley and the rain vortex.
Oh, lovely.
Wow. Yeah. Have you been there, Justine?
I have been to Jewel, and I absolutely love it. I just can't stop staring at that, the waterfall. It's amazing.
So this one, you got to go up to the 5th floor at the Canopy Park. Yeah, and that's where you find those Discovery Slides. I saw them when I walked past the other day, last week. But are they available and open for adults to ride on as well, Jason?
Yes. It's actually a first family playground that allows adults and kids to slide together and to play together also, yes.
Wonderful. And I saw a lot of cargo nets as well, so I think that's part of it too?
The cargo nets, yes, is inside the structure itself.
Yeah. All right, so that would be one playground that you'd highly recommend. What others would you have in mind?
Okay, the other one, which is the Oasis Water Park at Nee Soon East, is the first community water park situated within a housing estate. Actually, it spans over 5,600 meters square, and it consists of 3 main spray zones, a rainforest-themed spray zone, with water shooters, water buckets and the slides, and also an interactive ground space, as well as a water channel for the toddlers to play. The most important thing is that it's free.
Wow.
It's free to the public.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so just bring your swimming costume, obviously. And those slides, they actually, at the end of the slide, you go into the water?
Yes.
Lovely.
All right, Justine, it looks like we're going to meet you there later after our program. Provided it's not raining already. Let's talk about also another suggestion that you have, and this is at Dawson Vista, Jason?
Yes. Dawson Vista is a recent project that we have just completed. It is the first theme park playground located in the heartlands. So it was inspired by Alice in Wonderland fairy tale. Kids will come face to face with the characters in 3D, such as the Sheriff's Cat, the Tweedledee, Tweedledum, the magic dolls, magic potions. So they can actually help to promote imaginative play as well as physical play too.
Oh, fantastic. So, Jason, let's talk about environmental sustainability now, and how your products, your processes, I guess, how are they aligned with being a green company?
Oh, okay. We have green label certificates for playground equipment, which contains at least 50% recycled content. And our fitness equipment can also charge your handphone while working out. We are also constantly looking for ways to recondition used playgrounds and donate them to countries such as East Timor and Cambodia as part of our corporate social responsibility program.
Right. So you're saying that the playgrounds that we have that may be a little bit aging and can actually be reused, repurposed, maybe just touched up a little bit before they are exported to another country.
Yes. We normally use because most playgrounds in Singapore is still quite new after 5 years, so we normally reuse it and donate it to other parts of the world in which is in need of playground equipment, such as Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, all these countries.
Right. So the typical lifespan of Singapore playgrounds about 5 years, you're saying?
For public housing areas, should be around 5 years, 5 to 6 years.
Okay. Something new I learned.
And what about some adult playground structures, Jason?
Yeah, because Justine is interested in wanting to play some.
Well, I mean, some of them I have to borrow a child and take, right? So if I want to go by myself, what would you recommend?
Oh, I would recommend the... let me see.
For sure, the Discovery slides, right? Yeah.
The Discovery slide at the Jewel Changi Airport. Because the slides are made bigger, and the parent and the child can slide down together. And it also has a drop slide, which is very steep. It actually challenges both the adults and the child to try having fun at the slide.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, they definitely have to be bigger. I mean, the worst thing you want is to have SCDF mobilized to help do an extraction of sorts. And yeah, definitely adults would be permitted to go through a bigger slide and such. All right. So, Jason, before we let you go, take us through what your thoughts are for the future of playgrounds, be it in Singapore or around the world. What developments are there in this particular field that you're in at Playpoint?
I think the future of playgrounds should be more open and adventurous so that users can learn to discover, take a tumble, brush it off, and get right back up. Because the normal complaint that we often hear is that today's playgrounds can be a little too sterile and devoid of challenge. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what we think is the future of playgrounds in Singapore.
Okay. Well, Jason, thank you so much for speaking with us, and for our listeners who are interested in finding out more about the playground and the projects and the services that you offer at Playpoint, they can visit your website at playpoint.asia. Jason Sim is Managing Director of Playpoint Singapore, speaking with us in this segment of Money Mind. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.